Hey, AfterBuzzers, we're talking Life Sentence, Episode 7. Wes almost punches Dr. Grant. Mom kisses Dad. And Aiden almost gets a felony. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Your man.
I know. not anymore. Not after finding out his age.
I think an older man could be good for you.
No, I'm fine. Hey guys, what's up? I'm your host, Karla Beltran. I'm joined by Suzanne Quast. We're so excited to be covering tonight's episode of Life Sentence. We're already at episode 7, Our Father, the Hero. And you guys, if you're wondering what the song is, this is actually Dr. Grant's real band.
Yeah.
What's the name of his band?
Hang.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is one of his songs. I think this is the first song that he released.
Okay.
So this is kind of cool. He started singing, I guess, along with writing music a long time ago, but he really got started on Nashville. He was a part of their soundtrack.
That's
so this
awesome.
is, I know, how cool is that?
Yeah,
But
seriously.
I wanted to find out if they wrote this, like, you know, with him in mind, the fact that he's a musician, or if they're like, oh, you're a musician, we need to make you a doctor. Who plays
Yes,
the
who plays in
guitar?
a band.
Yeah.
We need to ask them and be like,
Felicia, yeah.
hey. Well, we have so much to cover. So let's get started with the big thing that we all want to talk about is Aiden's felony.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta say, I think that this was a great example of how a family does come together.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, he definitely deserved it. I think, you know, what transpired, you know, I know it's probably difficult for him to find out that his dad is the one that called the police.
The police for him, yeah.
But I have to say that I think there's something to that. You know, if my son or daughter was on the wrong track and you feel like you've tried everything, how far are you really willing to go to help them?
To fix them, yeah. I mean, at first, when the dad said that he was the one that called, I was like, excuse me, like, he's your son, like, how could you ever do that? But I guess in the way that you put it, it kind of makes sense, but
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't call the cops on my son without doing research of what would happen. And if I did call the cops, I would kind of be like, hey, you know what? This is my son. My son is doing this. Like, what do you recommend me to do in order to, like, do something? Like, I would try and maybe negotiate something with the cops. Like, I don't know.
Maybe fake call and arrest him.
Yeah, or not like fake call and arrest him, but like arrest him for 24 hours or not even that. Arrest him for like half the day.
Put the fear of God in him.
Yes, exactly. Something that like that, not to the point where like he calls on his own son, not even knowing what would actually happen to his son. So that's why he kind of like set himself up to have Aiden pretty much like have to face this felony. Wow, I can't speak right now.
I felt like the show did a good job of starting it up to set the dad up to fail, right?
Yeah.
My father, the hero.
Yeah.
And then he's maybe not the hero, and everybody has an opinion about that.
Yeah.
But I kind of think that it was maybe appropriate, or it was one of those things where you're so frustrated that you do something and you're like, you know what, he probably doesn't have a felony charge, and selling Adderall maybe doesn't seem as significant as maybe selling meth or heroin or something like that. So how bad could it really be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe that was sort of the dad did say he didn't think he had anything on his record.
Yeah, well, yeah, because
Because what kid is going to tell?
yeah, what kid is going to tell their dad like, oh, actually, I have a record for selling drugs? But I don't know. I personally thought that his dad, the way that he handled it was like not really in a dad way. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, wait, like we never get like a parenting 101 handbook, so I don't even know what I would have done in that situation.
And he was the one that saw the text.
Yeah.
Right? He saw it, so he knew what his son was continuing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I think there's maybe a couple steps in between actually calling the police. But I do think that there's something to be said for, I think, kids nowadays. parents handhold kids a little too much. I think that you need to learn the lesson that you are accountable for your behavior.
I agree. Totally. Yeah. So, well, that doesn't really sound like fun. I do not. Like, parenting just seems so hard when your kids are young, and then it gets harder when they get older. I feel like there's no easy time. Like, I still even call my mom. I'm like, Mom, this is happening. And she probably is like, she's probably like, wow, you're like 24 years old. What are you doing now? But I don't know. Parenting sounds hard.
Right? Well, I mean, even look at, then we have Diego and we have Lizzie. I mean, look at how hard parenting is.
Exactly.
They don't even know how to handle something, and I don't know how I would handle it either.
Yeah.
You have your twins, and then all of a sudden they want to separate them.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that and how they handled it?
Well, I don't, honestly, I think that if your kid is behind, I didn't really like the fact that Lizzie was like, the reason why Lizzie wants her son to be not put behind is because of their daughter, because they're like so close to each other. And I think like some separation might be good, because if not, then they'll be either competing or comparing each other. If they're in the same classes and if they're going to school together, then they're going to be like, wait, why is your sister doing better than you are? Because right now he's in kindergarten, but when you're in kindergarten, you don't have that much of a responsibility than when you get older. Because when you get older, and like if you're in algebra and your sister has an A yet you have a C, your parents are going to be asking you like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you get this? You know? So I kind of was like, in a way, I thought they don't necessarily need to be together, and them being together doesn't actually mean that they're going to have classes together forever, because when you go to high school, you don't always get the same schedule with the same people, or in school in general, you know? So I was totally with, I think Carlos was the one that wanted to hold him back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yes,
I was
because
totally.
He said he felt like he understood.
I was totally with Carlos about the holding him back, and I think it's good. I mean, if your child isn't keeping up with the grade that they're in, then it's just going to become even more difficult for them if they're advancing and not knowing. If you didn't learn what you needed, like if you didn't learn how to write A first, like you're not going to learn how to write B first. You know what I mean?
Would you then think about maybe holding them both back at the same time?
No, never.
No.
I wouldn't if my daughter is smart and she's moving forward and my son is not doing as great as his sister, I wouldn't like be like, oh no, now you have to be held back because of your brother.
Yeah, I hear you. I think it's a little bit more of a complicated decision than just, oh, you're doing better, so you go ahead, and you're not doing as well, so we're gonna.
And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I do not have kids yet.
No, I don't think that's a bad actually a bad thought process, but I think it would also be challenging, because my friend just had twins, and she said that it's so crazy because even when they're in right now in the cribs, they're literally cooing for each other throughout the night just to make sure that the other one's near. Yeah. So I feel like you have somebody who you're that close with, and I think that would be challenging to then, be separated or not be in the same grade, maybe doing the same things. I think the one thing that I put an asterisk by that I think actually helps the situation is the fact that it's a boy and a girl.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think if it was two girls or two boys, that would be a different conversation. But I think that it's the fact that it's a girl and then the boy, and for a boy, it's okay to be, I think holding him back is what Carlos was saying, is then he gets to be bigger. Yeah. Then he gets to be more advanced. And then he's like, I think the time might help a little boy. Yeah. But if they were both boys, I think that conversation would be more difficult.
Probably.
I
don't know. That just...
Speaking of fun parenting.
I don't know if fun and parenting can go together, but maybe it can. Who knows?
Okay, speaking of growth, if you want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life, for those of you who do, we have an amazing podcast, Conversations with Maria Menounos. It's hosted by our AfterBuzz founder, and it drops every Friday on iTunes. It is so great. It features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of your life. I've personally downloaded it, and it's incredible. I listen every Friday. They have topics ranging from health and wellness to career, relationships, finances. It's pretty awesome. So let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. And when you do, be sure to rate and comment and let us know that we're the people that sent you guys there.
Life sentence. Say life sentence sent you there.
Yes, we did. Life
Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. Check it out, guys.
Awesome.
Yes. What another thing that we need to check out is Mom.
We had this conversation. We did. And I have to say, and I said that it will happen, but they're not actually going to, like, you know, do the deed.
Get together.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to keep setting it up. Well, I mean, it's difficult. There's only, you know,
2 episodes.
Yeah.
3 episodes left. Yeah.
So it's going to be difficult to see sort of what happens.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think that they had their relationship. They had their ups and downs, but I kind of like Mom being single right now, and I like Dad being single, and I like them. They're, like they said, they're always going to be family. No matter what, they're always going to see each other. And I kind of like that. I think this is a time for them to grow as individuals, because she said that the last time she was single was before she was with him. And I think when since they've been together and they were married, and then 8 years of like a daughter fighting cancer could be like very draining, and you kind of begin to lose yourself. So I'm kind of looking forward to these next 3 episodes of them in a way being alone and finding themselves. So I'm kind of hoping that they don't get together, and if they do, it'll be like in a really nice way. But I don't know. I think
they're setting the foundation, though, for it to be regardless in a really nice way.
Yeah.
I think, you know, they're communicating in a way that they did not before.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even the dad said, or even Peter said after she kissed him and then he told her that he was the one that called the police on Aiden. You know, he was like, first in our marriage, you were mad that I never shared anything. Now I'm finally sharing something, and now you're mad.
And I think that's because they're becoming more comfortable with each other, because they're both finding like, oh, wait a second, like, this is what I should have done. But they're figuring it out on their own. So
I don't know if it's comfort. I think it's they're actually taking the time to maybe respect each other. I think what can happen in relationships is you take the other person for granted. Mm-hmm. And I think that they're starting, you know, and being separated, they're realizing the assets and the strengths that they bring to not only a friendship or what they brought to the marriage, but also as being a father and a mother.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what's gonna
happen.
Yeah, so I don't think they're gonna end up actually
together.
No,
me neither. But they'll always be together.
Yeah. But how great is that? How many divorced families right after a divorce can then sit down and have a meal?
Yeah, together with the rest of their family.
Not many.
No,
I come from a divorced family, and ours did not look like that.
Yeah, no, there's definitely not a lot of families that would do that at all. So, and yeah, love, parents.
Speaking of love,
we have a little love triangle, guys. I think it's a love triangle, right? It's totally a love triangle. We're gonna call it a love triangle because we like love triangles.
Yeah, we're the first person to start that, or the first people to start that.
Yeah. So we have Stella, who is the top of the triangle, and then we have Dr. Grant and Wes. They're both so cute. How do you choose between one or the other?
I just have to tell you guys, can we tell them about your crush and how you were crushed to then find out how old your crush was?
Sure, we can say.
It's all good.
As long as he's not watching.
Or maybe you are. Kidding. Maybe he is, and then he can try to convince you otherwise.
No way.
So he's 40. I'm shocked by that. He looks damn good.
He does. So you guys, before the show, we were trying to find news for you, and one of the news. Well, it wasn't really. Yeah, one of the news was that Dr. Grant actually has a real band, which is what we opened the show with. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like, he's really cute. He comes on his music video. And then I was like, how old is he? And it turns out
she kept being like, oh, we should get him on the show. And then she was like, how old is he?
Yeah, and then it turns out he's 40.
Wow, he looks good.
He looks really great for his age.
Yes. But
with
regardless,
all respect to him, and if he's married and has children.
Yeah. Agreed. But here's my thing with this. Okay. I feel like Wes is amazing. And if you're married, I get we're human beings, and I get we have temptations, and I get, but you got to shut that stuff down. Like, you are a married woman, and I know she sort of does, and she keeps saying how much she loves Wes.
I wish Monique was here because she'd be like, oh.
I agree.
You guys, Monique couldn't join us today, but she'll be here. She'll be here next week.
But I'm kind of upset about this, to be honest with you, at this point.
Really?
Yeah, I am. Like, I just feel like it's inappropriate.
For him to be acting the way he is?
Yes, he knows. Like, not only that, but, like, at the bar, as he's singing to her, I get it. Like, he's caught up in a moment.
Yeah.
But come on, he doesn't have then the moment that she is married, that maybe her husband is there.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that they were locking eyes.
But it's also on her, because if she sees him staring and she's the one that's married, she should have looked away. And if you look away, he's going to look away too.
I'm
you know?
with you.
I think, if anything, this fell more on her rather than on him, because she stayed staring at him for a good while. Like, since he started singing. And then until... she was like...
So then when Wes confronts Dr. Grant, do you think that part of what he was frustrated with is that he was mad at Stella?
I think so. To him. Because honestly, she was looking at him first. Stella was looking at the doctor first. And then the doctor locked eyes with her. And then they were like...
I mean, but at the same time, he's in a band. Like, it would be... how you're at a bar, of course you're going to look up.
Yeah. And he saw her.
Yeah, I would be devastated.
I have a... what?
If I was Wes and you
oh my gosh,
that.
Yeah. I think Wes was in the right for getting mad at Stella and at Dr. Grant. But I think, if anything more, is like he needed to be more mad at Stella than how he is.
I completely agree.
Like, I honestly, if that were me, I would be like, look... who's that?
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't take it out on her. I would take it out on him for not respecting me as his wife. You know? I feel like, if anything, that was like borderline like disrespect towards her husband that was sitting there.
Yes,
you know,
who's there to support her brother that could be going to jail.
Yes.
I mean, he was there, like, now, like, talking to her sister and brother-in-law about what to do, or like hearing Diego's issues with their kids, and that's how you're going to treat him? Mm-hmm. No, I thought it was awful.
I didn't like it either.
But did you think it made Wes sexier that he went back and confronted Dr. Grant?
Well, I already think Wes is sexy.
Yes.
So I think it was attractive, but I think it was like unnecessary that he tried to punch him. I didn't like the punching fact. I like that he went up and he was like, yo, that's my wife. You need to stop. You know, like, he kind of... but I don't like the fact that he blamed it all on him.
Yeah, but what's he gonna do? Like, you know,
confront Stella.
I agree with you, but as like man, like there's like a certain like language,
yeah.
And to go out there and be like, but my wife really should not have made eye contact with you. Like, he's not gonna say that. But to go after him, I actually appreciated that he went to like
to go up to him. Yeah, definitely. And I thought it was very like, okay.
Yeah, it made Wes a little bit like. And I don't mean that in like a way that I need my man to go out. And, like,
but very manly and went to go fight for his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, literally fight for his wife.
Literally. I mean, and Wes has been like fighting, like he's been fighting for his family or fighting for her family. He's been helping out so much.
He's been there for everything, really, since like the beginning of season one, since the beginning of like episode 1. He's been through like everything with her. In the end, so I don't really understand how, like, I understand how she has this connection with the doctor, but at this point, it's like, I think it's more her trying to fulfill her fantasies more than the connection that she has with the doctor.
I don't think it's that. I think so I've been thinking about this from last week. I don't think it's that she's necessarily, it's just a fantasy thing. I think that there's something to be said, again, when somebody goes through a tragedy and they can connect and bond through that. However, I feel like they also started on like a real level of vulnerability and rawness. So she started that relationship with Dr. Grant being fully exposed, so to speak.
Oh my gosh.
So
yes,
and
you're
then
right.
I think that now she's building that with Wes. It's not that it can't happen. It's just
it didn't start out like that.
Exactly. So I think that that's where you then, as a person, need to say, okay, this is confusing, and I'm going to stop this because this needs to be where my focus is.
Yeah.
And let me see if that exists there.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm totally thinking about this. That's so true.
I agree.
That's so true. But I mean, I feel like if anything, like once they get through all of this, I think they're going to be a lot stronger. Well, we're about to see with next week's episode.
I know. I'm so sad.
I know. Me too.
I know. Well, should we do something that's going to make us...
I have one last question for you.
Okay.
This song that Dr. Grant said that he wrote years ago or months ago, do you think that was do you think he lied and he actually wrote that for Stella? Because that song really related to Stella.
No, I don't. But okay. I think that but maybe
he could he could have totally written it for somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I don't know how quickly they're writing and getting stuff up and running.
Well, he said a couple... Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He said what?
I mean, maybe if he's feeling it, he's feeling it.
That's true. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come out that he did write it for her. Maybe that'll be something they discuss on this little road trip.
Yes. Maybe she'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were in a band. You know, I liked your songs. And you could be like, oh, I wrote the last song for you.
That could be. Actually, you might be onto something.
I may be onto something.
Awesome.
Well, I think that pretty much like closes our little, like, not a prediction, but like the recap. However, we have a special segment for you guys.
Woohoo! So we're excited to announce life sentence, yay or nay. So we're going to ask each other questions, and I think it's self-explanatory, and she's going to answer yay, or vice versa, yay or nay.
We're going to be getting an Aiden tip jar, and we're going to have our questions in there. We're going to go and be pulling them out, and it's going to be more interactive within the last few episodes, so it's going to be really fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank
Stop. Stop it more. Okay. You want to start?
I'll start, yeah.
Okay.
Would your family, or would you actually, let's change it to, would you celebrate an arrest of a family member?
Yes.
Yes?
It depends.
Okay.
It depends. Okay.
Why?
I think there's something, I have a really dark sense of humor, and I think there's something amusing about it as long as the outcome, there's like a happy outcome. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I would have celebrated with what happened to Aiden after.
Okay.
So he's going to go to jail for a week as opposed to 3 years. That I would celebrate.
See, I would have also celebrated it like yay, but I would have been more like, oh yay, like you've been the only person to go to jail in like our family or something like that, you know?
Degenerate award goes to
something like that. Would also be like a really stupid thing, like, oh yeah, like we're so proud of you for like being the only person that went to jail.
That's funny. Okay. Would you have stayed at the bar when you saw Dr. Grant there if you were with your boyfriend?
If I felt like Stella does, or me myself?
If you are Stella.
If I am Stella, I probably would have waited till my brother got there and then be like, hey, you know what? I can't be here. Okay. That doesn't really answer the question. That's like yay or nay. I'm jumping around the question, so that means nay, I wouldn't have left.
You would not have left. Okay.
No. And I wouldn't have left because I think it would have been fun to kind of see. But the thing is like, I wouldn't have done what Stella did, you know?
Okay. All right. Noted. I think I would have said, everybody, we got to go. There's this awesome bar that I heard about that's down the street. Let's go check that out.
That's good. Oh, you're good.
Well, might have been in a predicament here or there. Learning from my past mistakes.
Yeah, see, I don't think I've learned enough, so. Okay, next question. In the beginning of the episode, they're talking about a hairless cat. Would you adopt a hairless cat?
Listen, I feel like this is going to come out wrong because of the hairless part, but no, I wouldn't. I just don't like cats.
Okay, me too. I'm a nay. I hate cats. Sorry if you're a cat lover, but I think they're not pets.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of the band 4 Doctors and a Mechanic?
I think it's cool.
I think it's cute too.
Yeah. I liked it. And I liked that Carlos thought that the super rocker looking guy was a mechanic and it ended up being the doctor.
I know, that was cute. That was a good twist.
Next question. Would you have told Aiden the truth Yay or nay?
That's a tough one. Yes, but actually, I feel like I would have gone to maybe my dad and sat down and been like, "Here's the deal. This is what I'm feeling. I don't know how to handle this situation, so I'm gonna need you to say something.
Yeah.
And if you don't, maybe by this time, I'm not trying to like give you an ultimatum, but maybe I have to honor this.
Yeah.
And otherwise, then I might tell them. I don't know, but that's where I'm leaning.
You're in between. Nay.
Would you?
First of all, I'm an only child.
Yeah, well,
So
unless you're imaginary friends.
I don't know. I would say nay, but that's just because like I'm close to like my mom, so I wouldn't ever like do anything to betray my mom. You know, like because and then plus if anything, like my mom has trusted me enough to where like I know that I can trust her, and I just feel like I wouldn't betray her.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
This is not a yay or nay question, but I'm just curious. Which sibling do you identify the most with?
Lucy. I mean, Stella.
Stella?
Yeah.
All right.
Because I feel like she's not an only child because she has siblings, but she's been treated as if she were an only child.
Okay. Fair. I think I'd probably identify with Lizzie, only because...
You know what? I actually kind of saw that.
But
Yeah.
I don't think I'm like her really at all, but I think I understand the fact of being, like, taking care of people.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a
Okay.
younger brother and a younger stepbrother and a younger stepsister.
Oh, okay. So you're the oldest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That
So
makes
I
sense.
feel,
Yeah,
so there's some
yeah.
identification with
Yeah.
that. So there's that. By the way, someone said, did you know about CW will not bring life sentence back next season? Yes.
Yes, that's
Sam.
first of all, fan shout out to who was it?
Sam Peeboon? Sam Peeboon.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, but we did know that. We're very sad about it. I actually talked to Aaron and Alicia. Aaron is one of the co-creators, and Alicia was on the show playing Marlene, and they're all really kind of sad about it. I think that they kind of anticipated it coming, honestly, but I think that they're ready for the next thing. You know, the CW is a hard place. It doesn't really keep many shows on. It doesn't give shows a very good
long,
shot.
This
show
industry is so tough, and keeping a show, already having a pilot, already having a whole season, getting renewed, like the odds are very, very small. So
Yeah.
I know.
Seriously, so.
But we loved, and what Lucy wrote in her Instagram and Twitter feed.
The video that they made together,
was-
her and Wes made a video. I was like, oh,
Yeah, it was really
so
sweet.
nice.
And I think it says something about the show that so many of the actors on it not only posted about how much they learned from it, but how great everyone was to work with. That doesn't happen on, in every show that an actor works on.
Yeah.
So the fact that I think that started with, Rich and Aaron, down to the people on the network, other producers, and then Lucy, I think, was a big anchor in that.
Yeah,
and created
definitely.
such an amazing atmosphere that everybody was really tore up about the show being canceled.
Yeah.
And I think the subject matter really meant something to her too.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's really sad, but I don't even know.
They're all on to something. If it's not this, it's something better. That's what I always
Yeah,
say.
definitely.
So
Everything
they're-
happens for a reason.
Yeah. So they're on to bigger, better, hopefully things.
Yeah. I just hope that they did like a good finale for the show, so that we're not like left hanging wanting to know what happens next.
I know, but how do they go back and sort
Yeah,
of? I
pretty
know we're
much.
going to all be on a cliffhanger probably.
Pretty much. Well, let's do some last minute predictions to see
Okay.
what's going to happen.
Woohoo. Wow.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I have a prediction.
Okay.
I would hope I have a prediction. Okay, my prediction is that Dr. Grant, I don't want this prediction to come true, but I really have a feeling that it's going to. Dr. Grant and Stella are going to kiss next episode.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, really?
I
Okay.
am. I'm
yeah.
with you. And I'm really upset that she goes, for the record. I know they have to. It's the show. But come on.
Yeah, no.
And I'm just curious how Wes
Especially-
handles it.
Especially because like Wes just told her like prove to me like you need to do something about this now. So the fact that she doesn't call her husband and is like, hey, you know what? I need to go on this trip. Come with me.
Come with me. Yes.
That's what I would have. I'm like, if your husband is asking you, like, you know what? I feel insecure towards this man, so do something about it so that I don't feel this insecurity. Either A, you kick him out of your life, or B, whenever you're present with him, you never let yourself be alone, or go on a trip with him and then take cute like family pictures because we see them trying to take a selfie with Sadie.
It's it's ridiculous. I completely agree with you. And I'm sorry they couldn't have brought another doctor.
Yeah.
Then Wes couldn't have gone.
Another doctor.
And so Wes and Stella could have gone for support. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Wes could have gone if he was playing rugby. I'm pretty sure he could have totally been part of the
Yes.
right?
Agreed.
Because he works at nighttime. So why didn't you ask him?
Well, maybe we should call her and ask her.
I'm gonna be like, hello.
Explain this to me.
Do you have any predictions?
I was gonna predict that. I also predict, but not yet, that the mom and dad, I think there might be another close makeout.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, after what happens with Aiden and stuff.
Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like they might actually have a makeout session and then both be like, this is not right. We shouldn't
Yeah,
do
like
this.
this is not gonna happen ever again.
Yeah.
They'll have a realization that they're never going to be together.
Yes, because I think that's what's...
I like it.
Do we think Aiden's going to turn his life around? What do you guys think?
I think so. Maybe. We're gonna find out. Hopefully.
I still think he's going to be a male whore.
He is, but this time he has an ankle bracelet, so he can't go that far.
Come to my place, baby.
He's taken, remember?
That's right. That's right.
Well, guys,
I meant the character. I didn't mean him.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Life Sentence. Your host, Karla Beltran. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Karla Beltran, on Twitter at Karla Beltran with an R at the end. And don't forget to follow AfterBuzz TV on all social media networks at AfterBuzz TV. And Suzanne, where can they find you?
Hi, guys. You can find me on all social media at Suzanne Quast. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes, we'll see you guys next week. Ciao.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.